I heard the vibration before I saw the light, the soft hum of a phone that wasn't mine, wasn't his, but was coming from his jacket hanging beside the doorway. A sound too familiar, too practiced, too hidden. It was past midnight. He was asleep upstairs, his breathing heavy, the way it always was when he believed life was settled, safe, unquestioned. I stood there, barefoot on the cold tiles, staring at the faint glow seeping through the fabric. One message, then another, then a picture preview, a silhouette of two people, capable of being anyone, except I already knew the shape of his shoulders. And the caption underneath, half cut by the screen, "Miss your hands on me, next time let's." The air didn't leave my lungs. It retreated, quietly. A strange calm wrapped around me, the kind that comes right before a storm but makes the world too still. I didn't touch the phone, not yet. His voice drifted from upstairs. My name, soft, half asleep, trusting. The same voice that whispered forever on a sunlit beach last summer, sand in our hair, salt on our lips, his hands shaking as he slid a new ring onto my finger. He cried that day. I didn't. Now, standing in the dark, I finally understood why. The next morning he kissed my forehead with the same casual affection he always performed. Routine, almost rehearsed. I watched him pour coffee, laugh at something trivial, adjust his tie. Everything perfectly normal. Too perfect. But my eyes kept drifting to his jacket hanging by the door. The second phone wasn't there anymore. He must have moved it in the night. Or maybe he never truly slept. I asked a simple question over breakfast. "You slept well?" He nodded without looking at me. A flicker, a hesitation too small for anyone else to notice. But I had spent years studying his micro-expressions, the tremor in his jaw when he lied. 3 weeks after renewing our vows, I found a phone that didn't exist. And now, a man pretending not to be cornered. The bracelet she wore in the picture, silver, delicate, was one I had once pointed out in a shop window. Not for myself, but because he said he wanted to surprise me someday. It seems he did. I kept my breathing even, my smile soft. But inside, a slow, quiet cracking began. Tiny fractures spreading through the version of him I had held in my mind. He kissed my cheek before leaving. His lips felt cold. The moment the door closed, I let the silence swallow the kitchen, and I knew there was more, much more. I didn't rush. Rushing blurs details. I needed clarity. I waited 2 days before going through our shared laptop. He thought his synced accounts were protected. He thought I was naive about technology, passwords, backups. He thought too much. Buried deep were receipts for hotel bookings in another city, dates matching the times he claimed to be on work trips. I clicked through slowly, methodically. Room for 2. Always 2. My stomach tightened, but I held still. Emotion clouds strategy. Then I found the photos. Not the ones on the secret phone, the ones he kept digitally hidden but synced to an unlinked folder. A beach, a small ceremony, 2 hands holding flowers. Her face half turned, enough to hide identity. But the dress, it was my dress, a copy of my wedding gown. Cheaper fabric, same silhouette, same veil. A duplicate life. He had married me twice, and lived another marriage behind the second set of vows. I didn't cry. Tears are a release. I needed containment. Instead, I documented everything. Screenshots, dates, times. I visited the hotel, pretending to be planning an anniversary. The clerk confirmed his stays, his smiles, his generosity. People always talk too much when they think they're helping. I stayed calm, cold, surgical. And every step drew me closer to the truth he thought he buried beneath sentiment. The second phone wasn't hard to find once I understood his patterns. He hid things in plain sight, inside coat pockets, between books, beneath folded sweaters. It rang one afternoon when he was showering, vibration against wood, a sound I now recognized with precision. I picked it up, typed the pattern he used for everything sentimental, the date we first met. The screen opened. Messages flooded the display, her asking why he'd been distant, him apologizing, promising another honeymoon weekend. Then the photos, a full gallery, her dress, his hands on her waist, their rings identical to ours, even the backdrop, a cheap recreation of our vow renewal setting. It was grotesque, a performance of fidelity for two audiences. When he walked out of the bathroom, towel around his waist, smiling like nothing in the world could touch him, I simply held up the phone. He froze. Water dripped from his hair to the floor. His lips parted, but no sound came out. For the first time, he saw me. Really saw me. I felt nothing. I placed the phone on the bed. Not thrown, not dramatic, just placed. He reached for it, trembling, whispering my name. I stepped back. "I already know," I said quietly. That was enough. He collapsed onto the edge of the mattress, face buried in his hands. Words spilled, pleas, excuses, fragmented explanations built from desperation rather than truth. I listened, not to understand him, but to watch him unravel. When he finally looked up, eyes red, voice cracking, I handed him a folder, printouts of every receipt, photo, time-stamped message. "I kept a copy," I said, calm, controlled, undeniable. His breath hitched. He realized this wasn't anger, it was strategy. And the moment he understood that he no longer controlled the narrative, he broke. I didn't touch him, didn't comfort, didn't rage. I simply walked to the doorway, leaving him with the ruins he created. I packed slowly that night, not out of sadness, out of precision. Every fold felt like reclaiming something he had diluted. He kept calling from downstairs, voice cracking, begging for a chance to explain. I ignored him the same way he ignored the vows he pretended to cherish. When I stepped outside, the air felt sharper, cleaner, like the world had been waiting for me to stop pretending too. I didn't look back. There was no reason. As I closed the gate, a strange calm settled inside me. Not peace, not triumph, clarity. He had given another woman a copy of my dress, a copy of my vows, a copy of my life. But he never understood one thing. Copies can be replaced. I can't. And I didn't leave anything behind worth returning to.